Shana Tova. My name is Dan Jones, President of our congregation. On behalf of our clergy, Board of Directors, and staff of Congregation Beth Israel, I'd like to welcome you today. Before our services begin, I'd like to share some information with you in case you are a newcomer to our community. As you came on campus today, you were required to wear a mask. Entrance onto our beloved campus is conditional on all entrants age 2 and over wearing a mask. Masks are required both inside and outside, for the vaccinated and non-vaccinated. You will notice that our choirs and musicians will also be wearing masks. When they are on the bima, you will notice that our clergy and some service leaders are not wearing masks, but that is the only exception to our rule. Please know that our clergy and service leaders have all had and will continue to get tested just prior to each holiday. We have created multiple spaces on campus for you to observe the High Holy Days. Please find the one that most fits your comfort level in regards to social distancing. We ask that you please follow the instructions of our staff and volunteers regarding our social distancing guidelines. We respectfully require that if you are unwilling or unable to wear a mask while on our campus, that you participate in our High Holy Day observances through our extensive virtual offerings. In the unlikely case of an emergency, please note the exits at the rear of the sanctuary in each corner. These are in addition to the 3 entry doors at the front. The social hall has emergency exits at each corner of the room. Upon exiting, for whatever emergency, please move a safe distance away from the building and follow any staff member instructions you may be given. Thank you for your attention, thank you for your cooperation, and thank you for your understanding. The Shana Tova. May this be a good and sweet year for all of us.
Mar Fatima Tova. May each of you be inscribed and sealed in the book of good deeds. For those able, I want to wish you at Tzom Kal, an easy and a meaningful fast. I want to welcome all those who are regulars in our community, those who come especially for the High Holy Days, those of you who are joining via our live stream, whether you're joining us from as far away as La Jolla or as close as Jamaica and Britain and Australia. We also want to welcome the non-Jewish members of our community who are here supporting their Jewish family. We appreciate your presence. A note of practicality. Yom Kippur is a long day with lots of standing. Whenever we ask the congregation to rise, know that we are doing so, that we are asking that you rise in mind, body, or spirit, whichever you are able. And if you begin to feel like you physically cannot stand, sit and let your spirit rise. Here we are, Erev Yom Kippur. We call this service Kol Nidre, all vows. It is one of only 2 services throughout the year where one prayer defines the name of the service. Judaism understands that life is complicated. No one is perfect. And that is especially true for our vows. Consider a Jewish wedding ceremony where partners say to each other, "You are consecrated to me by the laws of Moses and Israel, and not till death do us part." We don't know what the future holds, so every year we nullify our vows so that we can recommit to our relationships with updated new insight. Rabbi David Stern writes, Kol Nidre grants us the gift of sacred uncertainty, the chance to begin this new year with a sense of what we do not know, rather than a narrow certainty of what we do. What if every time we were ready to proclaim some self-evident truth, we allowed Kol Nidre to whisper in our ears and say, "Says who?" May this Yom Kippur be one of reflection, insight, and humility. We begin our spiritual journey this Kol Nidre with light. So I'd like to invite Sophie, Ethan, Nicole, and Rabbi Jason Navarez to help light our festival candles. The blessing can be found on page 9.
The human spirit is the lamp of God, searching out what lies within us. Guided by the flame of conscience, on this sacred night, we search for truth. Shine your light upon us as we strive to serve you. May we find safety in your faithful love. We light the flame of healing and forgiveness on this atonement night. We give thanks for love.
Baruch atah Adonai
As we prepare for Kol Nidre, a poem by Rick Lupert. I heard Kol Nidre on a cello tonight. They should take all legal documents and set them to music. All vows. This legal document written in unholy language. A prenuptial agreement for our inevitable failing. This relationship with the year itself, a contract awaiting the biggest signature. Please cancel my subscription, but charge my card anyway. I don't deserve the content. Every promise I make, a guaranteed broken one, between today and a year's worth of Jewish days from now. The next time the shofar is dusted off, we'll have this conversation again. Forgive me this year, and last year, and next. Forgive everyone who ever stood at the mountain. Forgive our promises, our oaths, our vows, all vows. You made the whole world, and on this day and every day, you knew this would happen. Pardon me, please.
Gemara Tov. In a moment, we're going to remove a Torah from the Ark, a tradition that goes back generations during the chanting of Kol Nidre. It is such beautiful choreography, filled with a sense of majesty and awe. But what's its deeper meaning? Well, I haven't found any traditional commentary on it. There are some modern understandings. The Kol Nidre prayer speaks of vows which we make in God's name, yet we are unable to fulfill. And on this night, our promises and our disclaimers are witnessed by the Torah, similar to how our courts have witnesses swear on a Bible. The Kol Nidre, as a portal into this period of deep introspection, represents our uncertainty about what lies ahead. It speaks about promises that could be forthcoming, whether voluntary or by mandate, and our concern about fulfilling them. Holding the Torah scrolls for that length of time represents our personal and collective concern. They are heavy, and they are not so easy to carry. Those that hold them represent all of us this evening. Will we be able to bear the burdens that the coming year brings? I delight in calling upon Janice Alper to hold our Torah, our president Dan Jones as well to hold our Torah, and I invite everyone to please rise as we continue on page 16.
We remain standing as we call each other to prayer with our Baruch Hu, page 22. Responsively on page 25. Day and night are yours, creative spirit of the universe, the muted colors of twilight, the radiance of dawn. Yours are the spreading wings of light, the deepening shadows of darkness, an ever-changing drama.
In the human heart, too, the struggle between darkness and light unfolds. From sunlit heights of generosity, the human heart sinks to the gloomy depths of selfishness. Although we fall, you give us the strength to rise again. You call on those who hurt through word or deed to break free from wrongdoing and return to you. All who hear your call to goodness are embraced. All who reject emptiness and find acceptance from you.
We come into your presence this night of Kol Nidre, aware that our shortcomings and weaknesses are many. Yet encouraged by your promise of forgiveness, we choose freely the path of repentance, restoring wholeness to our lives and holiness to the world. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. And together on page 26, love beyond all space and time, your love enfolds your people, Yisrael. We receive it in your teaching, your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. So let us speak these teachings when we lie down and rise up, and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of our life, ours to ponder and study all our days. May we never lose or be unworthy of your love. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Please be seated, and I invite Emily and Danielle Budman to lead us in the Ve'ahavta, page 30.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך וביתך ולכתך בדרך ושוכבך וקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
During the holiest days of our year, we renew our promise to stand up for what is right. We will not stand with our feet frozen to the ground and our arms limp by our sides. We will not stay silent when our voice is needed. We will not hide. We will not walk away. When people are sad, we will comfort them. When people are mean, we will stop them. When someone is hungry, we will feed them. When someone is cold, we will find them shelter. When there are tears, we will dry them. When there are hopes, we will support them. We know how slavery and sadness feel. We renew our promise this day to not stand idly by when others are suffering. We renew our promise this day to bring all people into our song of freedom. Page 40.
מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
Prayer recited in community has a special dimension. Individuals may pray alone and keenly experience the divine. Judaism recognizes this and does not discourage solitary prayer. But Judaism is wary, lest such aloneness become the norm and the permanent condition of the human being. Religion is not simply what we do with our aloneness, but what we do with others. Prayer should not isolate us. It should not lead us to believe that we need only God and ourselves. But prayer should lead us outward, toward the love and care of the world we meet. Through prayer, we discover how important the community is for sustaining our own salvation. We rise in mind, body, and spirit as we begin our Amidah together and then individually on page 46.
Adonai Sefatai Tifta Ufi Agit Tehilatecha Adonai Sefatai Tifta Ufi
יגיד תהילתך. Oh God, open up my lips as I begin to pray. Oh God, open up my lips as I begin to pray. Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hanibor Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'konei hakol V'zocher Chasdei avot v'imahot U'mevii geula livnei bneihem Leman shemo Yai lai lai, yai lai lai, lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai, lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai, lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים. וכותבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים, אלוהים חיים וכותבנו בספר החיים למענך אלוהים חיים למענך אלוהים חיים יא לה לה יא לה 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 לה
Please be seated. A meditation before our silent prayer. I hereby forgive all who have hurt me, all who have done me wrong, whether deliberately or by accident, whether by word or by deed. May no one be punished on my account. As I forgive and pardon fully those who have done me wrong, may those whom I have harmed by word or by deed forgive and pardon me, whether I acted deliberately or by accident. May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable to you, our God, our rock, and our Redeemer. We take a few moments of silent prayer using the words of our hearts or the words of our Amidah through page 78.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. V'tov einecha לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. בספר חיים ברכה ושלום. ברכה ושלום פרנסה טובה. ברכה ושלום בכל עמך בית ישראל. חיים טובים ושלום. ברוך אתה אדוני, עושה השלום.
I was recently directed to an article on LinkedIn entitled, "We Can All Learn Something from the Viral Response to an Intern's Very Public Mistake." And it should be up on your screen right over there. It was actually from HBO Max and their help desk, which said the following: "We mistakenly sent out an empty test email to a portion of our HBO Max mailing list this evening. We apologize for the inconvenience, and as the jokes pile in, yes, it was the intern. No, really, and we're helping them through it." The response to that was from someone on Twitter: "Dear intern, when I was 25, I made a PDF assigning each employee to the Muppet they reminded me of the most. I meant to send it to my work friend, but I accidentally sent it to the entire company. My supervisor, Beaker, wanted to fire me, but the owners, Bert and Ernie, intervened." HBO scored a huge employer branding win here. In a single tweet, they demonstrated the kind of behaviors that create a company's culture that resonates with candidates. They supported employees no matter where they happened to be on the corporate ladder. They were being transparent with consumers, taking employee well-being seriously, embracing a learn from your mistakes kind of mentality. This last point in particular wasn't lost on Twitter users, where one said, "Experience is what you gain from wins. Wisdom is what you learn from losses. Don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid of not growing." We're about to enter Vidui in a moment. This is our annual reminder that we miss the mark all the time, in small and in big ways. Yet what we learn from that miss, that transgression, is how we ultimately move forward in life. So let us hold this important message as we enter into this time together. I invite you to turn in your mock stores to page 82, and if you will please rise. And let us join together in the English. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence. And when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong.
Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Dibarnu Dolfi, Shanu, Zadnu, Chamasnu, Tafalnu Sheker,
Maradnu, Niatznu, Saranu, Avinu, Hashanu, Sararnu, Kishinu Orem, Rashanu, Shichatnu, Tiavnu, Tainu, Titanu,
We continue with our confession responsively in Hebrew and English on page 86. For these sins, O God, we ask forgiveness.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בזדון ובשגגה, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בדיבור פה.
The way we have wronged you deliberately and by mistake, and harm we have caused in your world through the words of our mouths.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך באימוץ הלב, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בטיפשות פה.
The ways we have wronged you by hardening our hearts, and harm we have caused you in your world through speech.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בכחש ובכזב, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך ברכילות.
The way we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and harm we have caused in your world through gossip and rumor.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בפלילות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בזלזול הורים ומורים.
The ways we have wronged you by judging others unfairly, and harm we have caused in your world through disrespect to parents and teachers.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בווידוי פה, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בהונאת רעך.
The ways we have wronged you through insincere apologies, and harm we have caused in your world by mistreating a friend or neighbor.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחוזק יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך במשא ובמתן.
The ways we have wronged you through violence and abuse, and harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty in business.
For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
Ve'al kulam Eloha selichot selach lanu mechalanu kapelanu ve'al kulam Eloha selichot slach lanu nechalanu selach lanu nechalanu kapelanu.
You may be seated. The setting of this text, Ya'aleh, that we sing, was penned by the composer Eviatar Banai. And the song, the original song, is called Yesh Li Sikui. He says, I have just one hope, one request, that I think I'm worthy. We hope that each of us is worthy as we go through this day, from evening until morning, until our next day.
יש לי סיכוי להינצל, אני חושב.
Beloved and signature prayer of our high holiday worship, Avinu Malkeinu, we join generations of Jews who have sought your compassion, O Creator, and we open to you in self-examination. We approach you empty-handed. Embrace us generously as we expose our errors, and save us We join our strength to yours as we offer ourselves fully to the life we have ahead. Would you please rise? Page 114.
אבינו מלכנו, שמע קולנו. אבינו מלכנו, חטאנו לפניך. אבינו מלכנו, חמול עלינו, ועל עוללינו ותפנו.
be seated. Good Yontif. Memory, the power or process of remembering what has been learned. Pride, reasonable or justifiable self-respect. Together, these two are the fires that fuel and sustain the Jewish people. A letter to memory and to pride. Dear memory and pride, I hope this finds you both healthy and safe. I felt compelled to write to you both on this Kol Nidre, the sacred portal to Yom Kippur, the Jewish people's festival of the soul, after realizing what a beautiful shidduch, what a beautiful match you two make together. Memory. Over the past few weeks, I have been stirred by you after seeing a number of posts on social media. Many students heading off to college. Such beautiful moments. Photos of students sitting on their beds in their new dorm rooms. Parents proudly posting snapshots of neat and unprecedented organization in their child's new independent living space. I don't think it's going to last so long. Students enthusiastically posing with their new roommates or in front of famous college campus landmarks. Incredible. New beginnings, new friendships, new challenges and opportunities. Such powerful moments that are now enshrined in the digital archives of the interwebs. Memory, you were hard at work for me in seeing those images as you brought to mind the early days of my freshman year at the University of Michigan. Go Blue. I recall my first walk across the Diag on Central Campus, my first time stepping into the College of Art and Architecture building, where I would spend much of my first few years. And then one of you, memory, that stands out powerfully. The first time one of my roommates learned that I was Jewish. Man, I've never met a Jewish person before. Can I feel your horns? Just a few days later, another student also learning that I was Jewish said, I guess Jews are okay, but I didn't know that you can be a spick and a Jew. This was in Ann Arbor. No doubt, memory, those experiences from freshman year are formidable, and they still arouse so many emotions and questions. Potential new lifelong friends with preconceived notions of who I was. I recall thinking, would I be accepted? What would I need to do to prove myself? Would I need to hide my Jewish identity, something I was really proud of until those moments? Our capacity to store and retrieve you is extremely powerful. You help shape our identity, how we behave, who we want to be, how we grow, and how we change. You anchor us to moments in time which we might embrace or want to run away from altogether. I've been thinking a lot about you since Rosh Hashanah, when I spoke about anti-Semitism. Such a raw and painful topic. This evening, I feel that you and Pride have much to offer in this moment. A belief in you to help educate, inspire, and empower me and us to reject such hatred. Memory, not sure if you know this, but you are at the core of Jewish identity and tradition, a strong thread that is woven through our ritual and textual fabric. We bring you up so many times in our tradition, your ears must be ringing. At our Passover Seders, we're mandated to recall that in every generation, each person must see himself as if personally experienced the Exodus from Egypt. In that annual ritual, you help us recall the bitterness of slavery, the 10 plagues, the flight to freedom, and the beginning of the renewal of our covenant with God. We've come up with different names for you. Zachor, remembrance, so often appearing in our prayer books and other sacred texts. The ritual of Yizkor, when we reflect and recall our loved ones. Zichronot, shofar service. And Zochreinu l'chaim, remembering us unto life. All of these allow us to immerse ourselves in you in such varied ways. My dear Pride, from time to time, as I reflect on those moments in college, I think about how you have helped me to elevate and inspire my own Jewish identity and transcend the ignorance I was presented with. I receive emails from friends and congregants regularly where you're accentuated. Some boast about the 22% of all Nobel Prize winners being Jewish, despite only being 0.02% of the global population. They articulate how Israel is pioneering and developing water desalination technologies for third world countries. They enumerate the enormous reach of Jewish inventions, the Intel chip in every cell phone, the miracle of drip irrigation, and other advances such as laser technology, the pacemaker, global vaccines, or smaller inventions like the theory of general relativity. Sometimes I live vicariously through you, Pride, especially when I learn about the accomplishments of other Jews. I remember the moment I learned of Sandy Koufax sitting out the World Series for Yom Kippur, watching a documentary on Hank Greenberg as he spoke of defeating Hitler with each home run. I love watching Gal Gadot triumph as Wonder Woman and remain enamored with the sheer intellectual genius of luminaries such as Einstein, Freud, and the great warrior Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. After all the persecution, our people have and continue to accomplish so much. It is truly remarkable. We just don't survive, we thrive. We leave an indelible mark on every generation we touch. I will admit, while living vicariously through you can be affirming, it's not enough. In the face of the recent rise in anti-Semitism, I've been asking myself, what makes me truly proud of my Jewish identity? What makes me and others want to wear our identity like a badge of honor that is worth preserving or fighting for? Let's be honest. Accessing and sustaining a deep sense of Jewish peoplehood and belonging today has become increasingly challenging for so many, particularly among American Jews. Apathy, a general separation from the Holocaust, and other disconnects have strained our connections with you. How can we truly feel you in our identities if you are not rooted in our actual experience? Memory and Pride, this is where your joint power shines through to help me and us in the Jewish community along. You both have helped to spark a societal revolution. This transformation begins with a pioneering moral code of conduct, Torah, a sophisticated instruction book with great emphasis on pursuing justice, treating our neighbor as we wish to be treated, and welcoming the stranger, including those who wish to be part of the Jewish people. It teaches how to be protective of the environment and animals, how to fight fairly, how to create balanced weights and measures and judgments. Some of those instructions have even found their way into our civil laws and are inscribed on important domestic symbols as a proof text for the defense of human dignity. Your powerful union allows our ancestors to be revolutionary in introducing the concept of universal education to the entire world. First instituted in Israel at the end of the Second Temple period. While education among most nations was confined solely to a priestly caste, Jews were commanded to become a nation of priests, an innovation that was to shape Jewish and global life from that point on. At our best, we always strive to be inclusive of all types of learners. Our rabbinical authorities nearly 2,000 years ago were also aware that concentration of authority was against the ethos of Torah. Diffusing authority and responsibility for survival outward to every member of the community would allow Jewish civilization to thrive, not only survive. Memory and Pride. Your impression and emphasis on learning and asking questions, no doubt, is sacrosanct. In the Shema, our central declaration of faith, the mandate, Vishinantam levanecha, and you shall teach them these words to your children, consecrates this directive as we pass down the teachings of the Dor Vador from generation to generation. From the Seder table to the classroom and beyond, we are encouraged to ask questions, to wrestle and even refute the rabbis, to challenge the most widely held beliefs. Judaism emphasizes the importance of thinking for ourselves while preserving the utmost respect for divergent opinions. Memory and pride. Your motivation inspired our efforts as proto-pluralists, among the very first to challenge the status quo and insist that we should have the right to worship differently than others, ultimately becoming a bedrock principle in most democratic societies. Pride and memory. We utilize you to focus on the brokenness of our world and to acknowledge that we have a significant role in its repair. This means entering into a partnership with the divine in Tikkun Olam, the repair of our broken world, and recognize that this work is not to be outsourced to a divine power or to others. It is ours, yours and my responsibility throughout our lifetime. I, along with many others, have worked hard to advance social justice in the world because we took a descriptive Jewish historical experience and sought to make it prescriptive as to how we should and could behave in this world. We remain committed to opening our hearts and working with our non-Jewish partners, recognizing that the sum of our parts could make something entirely more meaningful and this world just a little more whole. Memory and pride. Your impact is deeply felt as we marvel at the almost unimaginable determination to persevere against all odds, while remaining determined to manifest a brighter future. The author Mark Twain, an admirer of the Jewish people, once noted in amazement, "All things are mortal but the Jew. All other forces past, but he remains. What is the secret of his immortality?" Pride and memory. Whether a Jew by lineage or by choice, your powerful influence helps us remain inextricably linked to the generations that preceded us, those that prioritize milestone moments, blessed their children at the Shabbat table, retold the annual primer of freedom at the Seder table, yearning for next year in Jerusalem. They awakened to the call of the shofar and fasted on this day as a means to spiritual direction and renewal. And those that bestowed the new generation with Hebrew names created a permanent link in the annals of Jewish lineage and continuity. Memory and pride. You both inspire an evolution of broad inclusion. In 2021, we are religion, ethnicity, and heritage, tribe and nationality. We are gender binary and gender fluid. We are cultural and secular, atheist and believer. We are movement, identified, orthodox, conservative, reconstructionist, reform. We are pluralistic and universalist. We are LGBTQIA and Jews of color. We are insider and outsider. We are wanderer and settler. We are pacifist and activist. We are Zionist, and we are witness. Pride and memory. Your collective inspiration has tasked us with holding our civilization's perpetual mourning, along with ceaseless gratitude at the same time. Mourning for all that we've lost. Millions of people in the Holocaust, victims of pogroms and inquisitions, exiles and blood libels and modern manifestations of anti-Semitism. At the same time, we can continue to hold endless gratitude for being able to journey through life, for having more freedom and opportunity than in any other time in Jewish civilization, for having a modern Jewish homeland, the yearning of our ancestors over the past 2 millennia, with the establishment of the modern state of Israel. Your combined power, your life-sustaining history, is our mandate to fight against anti-Semitism and ever strive for a better world that holds promise for all people who aspire to live in freedom and in peace. Elie Wiesel said that being a Jew means not seeking to make the world more Jewish, but more human. To be Jewish with divine presence is to know how precious it all is, how much there is to be thankful for, how much more needs to be done. To be partners with God and to take our work seriously, how far we have to climb, how tedious, but how glorious the journey. I share this letter with you on the eve of Yom Kippur, as I know that Kol Nidre brings warmth and belonging into our sacred space. We hear the familiar notes and melody as one. We begin our holiest day connected to each other and to Jewish communities throughout the world. At the same time, it also connects us to a deep sadness, a collective sorrow of trauma and hatred we have and continue to endure. Memory and pride, thank you. Thank you for teaching me how to hold you both in this moment. Your presence is critical and necessary to pass on. You helped me transcend those early college moments and support others in helping find their own paths. For those gifts you bestowed upon me, I offer this blessing. Baruch atah Adonai she'asani Yisrael. Blessed you, Adonai, who has made me a Jew, for our cultures and traditions, for our food and humor and diversity. Bruchat Yah she'asani Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, who has made me a Jew, for learning and dialogue, for commitment to the continuation of Jewish life, for the warmth and beauty, the challenges and complexity behind all that family brings. Baruch atah Adonai she'asani Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, who has made me a Jew, for justice and action, for holding on to memory, pride, loss, and gratitude. Bruchat Yah she'asani Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, who has made me a Jew, for reminding us to always ask ourselves, what are we yearning for? What are we looking to pass on to the next generation? Baruch atah Adonai she'asani Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, who by design or choice has made me a Jew. With much gratitude, love, and appreciation, Jason. I call upon our president, Dan Jones.
Thank you, Rabbi Navarez, for those stirring words of sort of framing the idea of the Jewish condition within the human condition. A lot of things to think about on Kol Nidre. Shana Tova, I'm Dan Jones, president of Beth Israel. I would like to thank all of you for joining us. Between our earlier service and this service, we've had hundreds of in-person attendees here today, and it's been really wonderful to see so many familiar faces and some unfamiliar faces. It's wonderful to have so many people in community with us. And for those of you here with us in person, I'd like to thank you for your kindness and respect to one another and to all of us by following the rules and protocols that we've put in place to try to keep us all safe so that we can all be here and worship together. And to the thousands of us, if you believe the YouTube metrics, the thousands of you viewing online, welcome to all of you and Shana Tova as well. Sitting on the bima with me tonight are Heather Cohen and Kevin Berkowitz, who serve on your board of directors. This evening, we especially would like to thank Marcia Bookstein, our cellist, for her years of adding beauty to tonight's service. We're thrilled to once again welcome our organist, Dr. Jaeban Huang, to Beth Israel, and we thank her for her artistry. We also thank our choir for adding such beauty to tonight's worship. To our musicians, Andrew Mayer, Buddy Voigt, Jeff Myers, and Kate Chasen, and to our soloists, Emily and Danielle Budman, and Danny Myers and John Volrath. I'm trying to decide for next year whether I want my hair to look like Danny Myers or John Volrath. I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to start today. And thanks to our Zimraya Chorale and friends. Also like to thank Tasha Kuntz, who is our choir's conductor this evening. We thank Dr. Warren and Karen Kessler for giving us the privilege of having this inspirational Kol Nidre as part of our worship experience. We also especially thank Iris and Matthew Strauss as sponsors of our High Holy Day music, and Dr. Lisa Braun Glazer and Jeff Glazer for generously underwriting the purchase of our High Holy Day prayer books. Word on parking. Once again, parking is available in the gateway parking structure adjacent to our campus. Please enter through the CBI parking lot off of Golden Haven rather than above off Town Center. And then please park on the lowest 2 levels of the garage. This is particularly going to be important if you want to join us tomorrow in person. You'll need to pull a parking ticket and validate it prior to leaving. Parking validation machines are available at several locations as you exit services. The closest one to here is right out that door on a table by the wall. For those with disabled parking placards, there is limited parking in Beth Israel's main parking lot off Golden Haven Drive. New this year, we do have made arrangements for overflow parking at the UTC Mall, but mall parking rates do apply. For tomorrow, our Yom Kippur services continue. At 8:30, we have our family service. 11 a.m., our morning service. 12 to 2, we have our food for thought sessions. 2:30 to 3:30, we have contemporary confessions. 4 p.m., we have our afternoon service. And 5 p.m., we begin with Yizkor, going into Nila. We were slated to finish sometime around 6:15 tomorrow, early evening. But as this is Rabbi Navarro's first in-person Nila celebration, who knows, it might go a little longer, we'll see. But in all seriousness, I really invite you to participate in our Nila service either in person or online. It is the bookend to tonight, right? We begin with Kol Nidre and we end with Nila, and it's really transformative to go all the way through to the other side. At the end of Yom Kippur, as an added bonus, we'll offer a break the fast refreshment in the courtyard. Please check your High Holy Day ticket packet and our website for upcoming High Holy Day services and program information in case I've gotten anything wrong tonight. On behalf of Rabbi Navarez, Rabbi Cantor Bernstein, Rabbi Gimbel, our board of directors, and the dedicated staff of Beth Israel, we wish you and your family a healthy and joyous new year, and may you have a meaningful and easy fast. Thank you.
Very happy birthday to our president this evening. Thanks with us, Kol Nidre. We're beginning to conclude our service this evening. I invite you to turn in your Machzors to page 116 as we join together for the Elenu. Will you please rise?
Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הארצות ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם מלכנו כהם וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפניך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא,
turn to page 122, we reflect on those we've physically loved and lost, but those who continue to live on in our hearts and in our memories. And as a congregation, we join and say,
Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'vyomechon, u'v'chayeh b'chol Beit Israel, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu, le'ela u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yimru amen.
Zichronam livracha, may their memories ever continue to inspire and be for blessing as we say together, amen. Those who are with us in person, I invite you to place your machzors down. Perhaps those you came in with today, put your hand around your loved ones as we can create a little more intimacy in this moment as we continue in our introspection and ask for the blessings of peace. We join together in concluding with Oseh Shalom.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Gemar Chatima Tova, may you be sealed in goodness and in blessing. Amen.
Amen.